Her rights are health. In Kenya, thousands of women and girls face unintended pregnancy every year for many years. The consequences are life-changing and sometimes life-threatening.
And sensitize the health workers on those services. That is what I did in Samburu, Kibera, and Bungoma. What she's talking about.
According to 2025, a report by the Ministry of Health and African Population and Health Research Center, APHRC, induced abortion in 2023. That same year, there were 1,436,000 unintended pregnancies.
Continues to be one of the biggest challenges that we continue to fight with, and to fight against. Because stigma, misinformation, and harmful community are still create invisible walls.
On gender-based violence, I think physical violence is very visible. You can see it, and we know there is a lot of robust response to it, to physical violence. It's easy to see physical violence. Sexual violence and resultant effects like unwanted pregnancies are not easy to see and not easy to get remedies for, and that is why I'm sure some.
The expert says that many of these abortions resulted in complications not because abortions is unsafe, but because safe services remain inaccessible or unknown to those who need them.
Wengi wenye waongei huko juu, kila siku watu wanaumia huko ghetto. So government ingefanya waingie huko kwa mitaa, angalau watu wa chini wajue hii kitu inaweza fanyika, wasiumie venye ni wengi huko ndani. So serikali ingeweza ingie huko kwa mtaa, mtu akwe ni rahisi.
According to Article 26, Clause 4 of 2015, High Court permits abortion when a trained health professionals determines it is necessary for emergency treatments or save the life or health of a pregnant woman.
Unatolewa bila mambo hii ya kuingia kwa makwaka. Ndio inaleta shida watu wengi huko chini.
Someone could be wondering, why are we talking a lot around the question of abortion? It is because of the invisibility of sexual violence and the magnitude of the resultant pregnancy and the inability of survivors of that violence to get adequate remedy. Because for physical violence, you go to the police, it is P3, we know the
letter, but it happen once per week. You can imagine the population in Korogosho, and only once per week with one counselor on matters mental health. Hapo hata ni kuharibu, hata hakuna kitu. Hiyo ni kuguza.
Tuweze kuelimishana, tuweze empower watu na create safe spaces for young people to grow. And kitu ni ambayo naweza kutaka ifanywe katika kijiji yangu ya Korogosho. Naweza penda that gap ya sexual reproductive health and rights services iweze kufiliwa, because you'll find a lot of unintended pregnancies.
Organizations like Center for Reproductive Rights has also affirms the 2015 High Court ruling that survivors of sexual violence have a constitutional right to access safe abortion.
They need information, but through you, support from the civil society, from the partners supporting the national government to impart this knowledge, we'll be able to reach so many health facilities, health workers with information. Without that, they will continue doing what they are doing.
Young people from where I come from, Korogosho, hawawezi access these services because of lack of those services. Unapata most of for example, when in terms of contraceptives hakuna.
Wanaendaga na yeye chama. So sitakuwa na ya kupatiana information ama the exact thing yenye imenileta hapo. So kwa CHPs mnaweza toa pia mweke Gen Z. Juu sijui imekuwa ni ya wamama, hiyo ndio mnafanyanga recruitment si.
Both young girls and women and the formal settlements are affected as a result of lack of information, and most of them don't know their rights. Some health facilities still continue to deny information or remain silent, pushing women towards dangerous alternatives.
The perpetrator will be arrested and charged, isn't it? But for sexual violence, you may report, a APHRC form can be filled. It is much later, the evidence may not sustain a prosecution. But what happens to the survivor who becomes pregnant? It is a conversation that is rarely held. And therefore, when we talk about GBV, addressing GBV, a lot of the response is towards physical violence. We are not addressing sexual violence. But also not forgetting that emotional violence comes with sexual violence and other forms of violence. Socioeconomic violence also accompanies that, and harmful practices. Physical violence and harmful practices, because of their visibility and notoriety, there has been a lot of response. But we have paid very little attention to sexual violence.
The experts warn that lack of information is fueling unsafe practices, especially in the informal settlements. And they urge that sensitization saves lives. Accurate information empowers women.
This has just affirmed here,
protects health and dignity.
We say that information is power, but who are the custodian of this information? Not all women and girls have that privilege and that ability to have access, and that's why we exist as a community-based organization, and as a grassroots movement to support these women, to make sure that all these policies that are being passed
and youth are facing when they are accessing the facility to get services, the barriers, health worker-related barriers, stock out, what she's talking about, that why do we only get?
The main theme is when women are informed, communities are safer and justice becomes real.